5 mistakes millennials make managing Gen Z. Hey millennial managers, quick question. Are you accidentally becoming the boss you swore you'd never be? Imagine this, you're trying to mentor a Gen Z employee, carefully walking them through a task step by step, only to be met with a dead-eyed stare and what feels like a silent internal scream. Are you micromanaging or are you just ancient? Don't worry, you're not alone. A recent Resume Genius survey echoed by Forbes in 2024 found that a staggering 45% of managers find Gen Z the most challenging generation to work with. This isn't because you're a bad boss, it's because the rules of work have been completely rewritten and Gen Z is playing by a different playbook. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 5 critical mistakes millennial managers are making and, more importantly, how to fix them. Because getting this wrong doesn't just mean awkward Zoom calls, it means losing your most innovative, high-potential talent to a competitor who gets it. To turn generational friction into high-octane performance, make sure you hit that subscribe button for GENSHIFT. You won't want to miss these solutions. Mistake 1, the micromanagement mire. Mistake number 1, the I'm just helping hover, otherwise known as micromanagement. This impulse often comes from intense pressure. Forged in hustle culture, many millennial managers suffer from productivity paranoia, anxiety about whether people are truly working without constant supervision, especially in remote settings. They often replicate the control-heavy style they were taught equates to quality. But this isn't just about autonomy, it's a clash between the manager's anxiety and the employee's need for safety. The millennial's anxiety drives them to control every detail for a flawless project. For Gen Z, however, psychological safety is a non-negotiable baseline. A 2023 McKinsey study found it's a top 3 factor for them staying in a job defined as the ability to make mistakes, learn, and still have a chance to develop. Your attempt to prevent errors destroys the safe environment Gen Z needs to innovate. Your coping mechanism is their career poison. Gen Z's craving for autonomy is a core operational need. A 2024 iHire report found 36.7% of Gen Zers want to work autonomously with minimal supervision. And their ambition looks different too. A landmark 2025 Deloitte survey revealed only 6% of Gen Z say their primary career goal is to reach a traditional leadership position. This isn't a lack of ambition, it's a conscious rejection of the high-stress management roles they often see. They want impact, but not at the cost of their sanity. Picture this, a manager, Alex messages his designer Chloe on Slack. Hey, just checking in. Can you send a screenshot 10 minutes later? Any update? 30 minutes later, he sends a Loom video. Hey, Chloe, I just went into the Figma file and made a few tweaks myself to speed things up. Alex thinks he's being helpful. Chloe is updating her resume, thinking he doesn't trust me. The fix shift from project manager to product coach. Instead of managing tasks, define the win. Set clear goals, then get out of the way. Your job isn't to dictate the how, it's to clarify the what and why. The deeper lesson is about trust. For millennials, trust was earned. For Gen Z, it's the default. Withholding it isn't a motivator, it's a deal breaker. Mistake 2, the communication chasm. Mistake number 2, speaking a different digital language. Millennials, the digital adapters, are bilingual, fluent in both formal email and quick-fire chat. Gen Z, the digital natives, communicate in memes, short-form video, and the friction isn't just style, it's a clash of values. Millennials often see thoroughness in an email as a sign of respect. Gen Z values speed and efficiency as the ultimate respect for their time. That long email feels inefficient. It could have been 3 bullet points on Slack. This leads to the classic misinterpretation loop. The millennial manager sends a detailed email. The Gen Z employee replies with a emoji. To them, it means got it, on it. The manager spirals. Are they being dismissive? Is that a sarcastic thumbs up? The data backs this up. WellHub research shows millennials are email forward and formal, while Gen Z is text and video first and emoji friendly. Plus, many Gen Zers started their careers remotely during the pandemic, missing out on learning office professionalism through osmosis, the subtle art of code switching. For many, their professional baseline is a Discord server, not a boardroom. Let's go back to Alex. He emails his team, "Dear team, please find attached the Q3 performance deck. I'd appreciate your feedback by EOD Friday. Best Alex." His Gen Z analyst, Ben, slacks him a meme of a cat typing furiously captioned, "Mire with the deck." Ben thinks he's being funny and signaling he's on it. Alex wonders if he needs to call HR. The solution is a team communication charter, a simple co-created document establishing ground rules. What channel for urgent requests? What's our expected response time is an emoji and acceptable acknowledgement. This creates shared clarity. The lessons stop assuming intent. When in doubt, ask. A quick, "Hey, does the thumbs up mean you've got this?" can prevent hours of anxiety. Mistake 3, the feedback fog. Mistake number 3, the feedback famine. Millennial managers raised on the annual performance review see feedback as a formal high-stakes event. For Gen Z, who grew up on the internet's real-time feedback engine, waiting a year for input feels absurd. The core misunderstanding is profound. Gen Z doesn't just want frequent feedback. They need it as data for course correction, like a GPS recalculating a route. Their digital life is a constant stream of data, likes, views, comments, allowing instant adjustment. At work, when this data stream is cut off, they feel they're flying blind. It's not about praise, it's about needing data to know if they're on track. The annual review feels more like a final judgment than helpful guidance. The statistics are clear. A Staff Circle survey revealed 73% of Gen Z are likely to leave an organization without frequent feedback. This isn't a preference, it's a retention crisis. A Gen HQ study found 60% of Gen Z want feedback at least weekly, and a 2024 SHRM report noted 80% of employees who get meaningful feedback within the past week are fully engaged. Here's a classic workplace tragedy. A manager, Mire, collects examples for the 3-month review of her new hire, Sam. Meanwhile, Sam grows anxious, feeling like he's in a void. By the time the review happens, Sam has already accepted another offer from a company whose manager gave him feedback on day 1. The fix is the 2-minute feedback loop. Make feedback casual and immediate. See something great, say it on Slack. See a small error, address it in a quick private chat. It's a micro interaction, not a meeting. The lesson for Gen Z: no news is not good news. Silence is a void of data and a sign of disengagement, yours and soon theirs. Mistake 4, the transparency trap. Mistake number 4, the mystery box. Approach to compensation and career paths. For many millennials, salary was a taboo. For Gen Z, who grew up discussing economic inequality, online transparency is a pillar of equity and trust. They see secrecy as a tool for unfairness. But here's the trap: managers think pay transparency is just posting a salary range. Gen Z's real demand goes deeper. They want to know the why and the how. True transparency is understanding the entire system. How is this range determined? What skills move me up? What's the exact path to the next level? This is why a 2023 pay scale study found a paradox for Gen Z. Pay transparency alone can increase their intent to leave by 3%. Seeing a higher salary elsewhere without understanding the logic behind their current pay makes them feel undervalued. Transparency of the number without transparency of the system is a catalyst for dissatisfaction. The data is stark. A USA Today survey found 83% of Gen Z are willing to share their salary. A Bright Mind report shows 44% of Gen Z rank pay transparency as their most important job factor, and 70% would switch jobs for more of it. Imagine a Gen Z employee, Maya, asks her manager, "What's the career path for this role?" He gives a vague, "Just keep up the great work." He thinks he's being motivating. Maya hears, "There is no plan for you here," and starts browsing LinkedIn. The solution is an open roadmap. Don't just share pay bands. Define the skills, responsibilities, and outcomes for each level. Make the path from junior to senior as clear as a video game skill tree. The lesson for Gen Z: ambiguity is the enemy of loyalty. If you don't define their future with you, they will find an employer who will. Mistake 5, the purpose void. And now for the final, most profound mistake: believing a paycheck is enough. Millennials started the purpose-driven work conversation, but for Gen Z, it's a non-negotiable requirement. They live their values through their work. The critical shift managers miss is that Gen Z views purpose as an integral function of their daily tasks. The mistake is failing to connect the mundane to the mission. While millennials sought fulfilling companies, Gen Z scrutinizes the daily work. They need to know how creating this spreadsheet contributes to the larger ethical mission. A manager assigning a task with only operational context, analyze these sales numbers, creates a purpose void. But framed with purpose, by analyzing these numbers, you'll help us find underserved communities. It becomes motivating. The task is the same. The connection is key. The data is overwhelming. A 2024 Deloitte survey shows 86% of Gen Z say purpose is important to job satisfaction, and they act on it. A Radency study found 49% of Gen Z job seekers have turned down offers from companies with misaligned values. This isn't idealism, it's a powerful economic action. Think of it this way: a manager says increase engagement by 15%. The employee feels like a cog. A better manager says, our goal is to build a genuine community. One way we'll measure that is by increasing engagement by 15%. Suddenly the metric has a soul. The employee is a community builder. The solution is the connect the dots habit. In every meeting, explicitly link tasks to the company's mission. Don't assume they see the connection. The lesson: millennials wanted a job that didn't conflict with their values. Gen Z demands a job that actively amplifies them. If you can't show them how their work makes the world better, they'll find someone who can. Conclusion: evolving into the leader they need. So there you have it. 5 generational tripwires that can turn a well-meaning millennial manager into a Gen Z nightmare. From letting go of micromanagement to becoming radically transparent and connecting every task to a purpose, the shift is clear. But this isn't a list of your failings, it's an invitation to evolve. The leadership styles that got us here won't get us there. The future of leadership isn't about managing a generation, it's about leading individuals. We're moving toward hyper-personalized leadership where managers act as coaches, tailoring their style to each person's unique needs. Technology will play a huge role. Imagine AI assistants helping managers track feedback or identify skill gaps, freeing them up for the uniquely human work of coaching and connecting. If you recognized yourself in any of these mistakes, be honest, hit that like button. You are definitely not alone. And don't forget to subscribe to GENSHIFT for more strategies to lead across the generational divide. Millennial managers, which of these mistakes hit a little too close to home? And Gen Z, what's the biggest thing your manager could do differently? Drop your stories in the comments below. We read every single one.